Welcome to the Back Tee Sports Tip of the Month. I'm Jeff McMillian, and today we're going to talk about the chip and run shot. The chipping technique is something we're going to use for the most part when we're within about 10 yards of the green, but there are some other instances where it might apply, so I encourage you to use your imagination. First thing we're going to talk about is setting up to the ball correctly. I'm going to narrow my stance down significantly where there's only probably 6 or 8 inches between my toes. I'm going to start out with the ball right in the middle of my stance. The other thing that I've done is I've come in much closer to the ball, and in turn I'm going to come way down on the handle. A lot of times my right index finger might even be down touching the steel of the shaft. Reason being, we're just looking to establish as much touch, as much feel, as much control as we can for this shot. With the ball in the middle of the stance, my club face square to my target, the first thing I'm going to do is take a couple of little baby steps to the left. As you can see from the side, what that has done to the ball position is it's moved it to the inside of my back foot. In turn, my feet, my hips, and my shoulders are now pointed well left to the target, but the club face is still square to the target. What this does is this helps encourage a descending blow, hitting down on the golf ball, and that's what pops the golf ball up in the air. By the way, before we go any farther, this is a 9-iron that I'm using right now, and this is the club that I'm going to use 90–95% of the time for this technique. There's a formula that's attached to the 9-iron. I'll get into that once we finish talking about the setup. With the ball in the back of the stance, my weight is naturally going to fall on my forward foot. Probably 70% of my weight is on my front foot. In turn, my hands are going to fall ahead of the golf ball off my left thigh, and what that does is that's creating a pretty significant angle of the shaft. And the idea is to keep the angle of that shaft in line with the left arm without the left wrist breaking down and the club face passing the hands. We want the club face to stay trailing the hands for this technique as we brush that grass with that descending blow. Now we're going to talk about what moves the club here. It's the triangle that's formed with your arms and shoulders. Your arms hang nice and freely from the shoulders, and that's what's going to power the club back and through for this little small motion. Probably the most frequently asked question when I teach chipping is, do the wrists hinge, or how much do the wrists hinge? And the easiest way for me to answer that is to just hit a shot and let you guys pay attention to the wrists, and you can tell me what they do. So as you can see, there's very little hinge with the wrists. If I were to go a greater distance, maybe all the way across the green, you might start to see a little more hinge. But for the most part, what's moving the club back and through for this small motion are the big muscles, the triangle that's formed with the shoulders and the arms. Now we're going to talk about the formula for the 9-iron. The formula that I use for the 9-iron is 1/3, 2/3. And what I mean by that is I'm going to carry the ball 1/3 of the distance in the air to the hole. It's going to be on the ground for the other 2/3. I've placed a tee in this instance out at my 1/3 mark, and let's take a look at how I'm going to try and carry the ball right to where that tee is located. I'm going to go through my setup, ball in the middle of my stance, open my feet, club face square, little practice swing, just brush the grass. That was pretty close to hitting my mark. Let's see how it turns out. I think if you'll follow this set of fundamentals along with the formula of 1/3, 2/3 with the 9-iron, it'll make you a better chipper immediately. Good luck, I'm Jeff McMillian. That's the Back Tee Sports Tip of the Month.